He grew up in a house with no father, in a small Thai downtown that most of the world couldn't point to on a map. Described his own childhood as quiet and without adventures. Today, is one of the most recognized comedians in Nigeria, a law graduate who turns the courtroom to a playground. He has acted alongside some of Nollywood's biggest names and built a brand so distinct that his face alone has become a meme. This is the story of how LAYI WASABI went from just a quiet kid in Osogbo to the LAYI WASABI. And there's a playbook hiding in plain sight that applies to you whether you're building a channel, a business, or just trying to become someone people notice. This is episode 2 of the Billionaire Playbook. Let's start with the city, because it matters more than people think. Osogbo is in Lagos. It's not the industry hub. It's a quiet town in Osun State, best known for something slow and deliberate. Traditional Thai dye craftsmanship. Fabric that takes hours of patience, careful work to turn into something vivid. There's something almost poetic about that. A city built on the heart of patiently creating something distinctive would go on to produce a comedian whose entire brand is built on exactly that. Patience, precision, and standing out without shouting to do it. Global brands don't have to be born in the loud cities. Sometimes, the quiet ones just build differently. But before the fame, there was loss. LAYI's father died when he was just 2 years old. He was raised by his mother, with extended family stepping in to help. He's described his childhood plainly as quiet and without adventure. No dramatic origin story, no early spotlight. But here's what he did have. A mother with a sharp sense of humor, which he credits as the actual source of his comedic instinct. And that's phase 1. It's easy to miss because it doesn't look like content strategy. His craft was shaped at home, in ordinary life, long before it was shaped on a stage or a screen.
Tell me that, Mr. Richard, why with all this your wisdom you have not blown? I'm the one that don't want to blow, sir. It's important I make my money first before I manifest.
In junior secondary school, LAYI did something most future creators do without realizing its significance. He formed a drama group. He called it the Emerald Star, and he led it all the way until his final year of secondary school.
Last time I had a mentee, Johnny, he self knew this journey was not easy.
Somewhere in there was a talent show performance that people still point back to as the moment it clicked for him. The moment he felt on a stage in front of his own classmates that this was actually his calling.
Understand that the business of fame is like a boxing game. As you are learning to blow.
No cameras, no algorithm, no followers. Just a room full of teenagers and the stage. And that's the part people skip when they want to go viral. They want the big room before they've handled the small one. Master the small stage before you chase the big platform. The algorithm rewards people who already know how to hold a room.
The proof of knowledge is demonstration.
LAYI went on to Bowen University to study corporate law. On paper, that looks like the moment comedy takes a backseat to being serious. It wasn't. It was training. Because when LAYI eventually built his signature character, a lawyer navigating absurd, exaggerated situations with deadpan precision, he wasn't performing a stereotype. he was performing fluency.
What's happening over there? Who is harassing my client? Are you his lawyer?
He knew the language, the posture, the logic of that world from the inside, and the authenticity is exactly why the character landed the way it did. Most comedians have to research a character. LAYI had already lived one. For anyone sitting on a serious degree while dreaming about something creative, you don't have to choose between your training and your passion. Sometimes, your training becomes the raw material your passion runs on. Don't discard your boring expertise. It might be the exact detail that makes your creative work impossible to copy.
Mameto called me last week. He said, Richard, it is understandable if people suspect your move, but never let them expect your move. So that is why I decided to take over this channel today.
By 2017, LAYI was posting on social media. By 2020, he had committed fully to skit. And here's the strategic decision that made him impossible to confuse with anyone else.
I thought you were romantic. No money, no chocolates. You are buying wine on Valentine. Who you want the wine? Eh?
While the wider skit-making scene was leaning into sound effects, jump cut, and maximalist editing, LAYI went the other way. Raw footage, no sound effect, minimal editing, just the writing, the timing, and the delivery completely unmasked.
Good day, sir. My name is LAYI, Richard, CEO, GSCC Master.
In a feed full of noise, the quiet, unedited clip is the one that makes you lean in, because it feels like it's not trying to trick you into laughing. It just is funny.
My name remains LAYI Tom Dick, and this is another episode of Pitch Your Business. See you again next week.
Sometimes, the smartest brand move isn't doing more than everyone else. It's stripping away what everyone else thinks is necessary.
But the position of law is quite clear that any person that is an unregistered pharmacist cannot carry on the business of a pharmacist. NDLA.
Yes.
What job is it?
The law now cocaine.
Once the skit had built a real loyal audience, LAYI didn't stay locked into short-form content forever. He moved into Nollywood, acting in feature films, stepping onto sets alongside established names in the industry, expanding from comedian on your phone to actor on the big screen. He collaborated with other major Nigerian creators, cross-pollinating audiences instead of hoarding his own.
Can you go and beg him? Can you go and beg him? Go and beg him.
So, look at the actual distance covered. A boy from a small town known for slow, careful craftsmanship, raised without a father, leaning on his mother's humor to get through it. That boy is now one of the faces of Nigerian comedy on the global stage. With millions of followers, feature films, a comedic character so specific and so well built that the lawyer's skit is now shortened across an entire continent's social media feed. He didn't get there by being the loudest. He got there by being the most precise. Patient like the tie down his hometown is known for. Distinctive like his own frame walking into a room. Disciplined like the law degree almost let go of, but never actually wasted. And he's not finished. More films, more characters. A brand that started as a quiet kid entertaining his classmates is now positioned to entertain the world. Here's what WASABI's rise actually teaches you. You don't need a loud city, a dramatic backstory, or a head start to build something the whole world would eventually notice. What you need is what he had. Years of patience nobody applauded. A willingness to keep the boring expertise instead of throwing it away, and the discipline to make yourself unmistakable instead of just louder. Quiet doesn't mean invisible. Sometimes, quiet is just genius taking its time. If this breakdown helped you see your own path a little clearer, subscribe, because next week, we're unpacking another creative who built a global name from a place nobody expected.